To say that the ongoing Boruto manga and anime are divisive would be a massive understatement. As someone who's been involved in the Naruto-Boruto community for some time now, there has been plenty of discourse over the years regarding a vast number of topics. Anime canon versus filler, nerfing the previous generation, hold up, pitiful, and an overall power spike, just to name a few. But there is one aspect of the series that consistently serves as a point of contention for fans, dating all the way back to the debut of the series back in 2017, and is still being discussed and debated on now in 2023, is the Jougan canon. Real quick, I just want to say thank you for checking out the video. You could be spending your time any other way. In the future, I plan on making more Boruto content and maybe even some JoJo content if you guys are into that. So if you enjoy the video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. It would really help my channel out a lot. If you don't like what you hear and see, feel free to yell at me about it in the comments. I'm always open to discussion. But I'm Momoshiki, the JoJo watching janitor. Thanks for tuning in. Let's get right into the video. Thanks, guys. So I just want to start by saying that this video will include major spoilers for the Boruto and Naruto series up until at least chapter 79 of the Boruto manga. If you don't want any spoilers, please give it a read and come back at another time. I genuinely believe that this series is at its best when consumed the way the author intended. If you don't care about that, or you're all caught up, welcome. You have been warned. Anywhere you look online, from Reddit threads to the trenches of Twitter and even the murky waters of YouTube comment sections, the same debate keeps popping up. Is the Jogan canon? No, but seriously, for those of you who are strictly manga or haven't been following the series, the Jogan is a dojutsu special to Boruto that has a couple of abilities. It was first showcased in the very first episode of Boruto and again throughout Part 1's anime. The Jogan itself has not yet appeared, nor has it been referenced in the manga as of the time of me writing this, so it leaves a lot of fans really only to speculate. So, before we go any further, I just want to clarify two subsets of Naruto media. You have the source material, which is typically the manga in most cases, or whatever comes first. The source material is typically what is considered canon, and in the case of any manga, anime, or wherever you look, canon refers to the content produced from the manga, and everything else that deviates is considered filler. Of course, when the anime releases, the source material is adapted, and this is still canon material, but any new additions or extra content would be filler. For example, Danzo fighting Shisui, the large span of episodes delving into each individual Tsukiyomi dream, or the 12 Guardian Shinobi arc, where a character named Sora is a pseudo Nine-Tails Jinchuriki and goes into a Nine-Tails rampage or something like that. Now, obviously, not all filler is bad. A good amount of it is actually entertaining and even hilarious at times, while also expanding the world of Naruto. But no matter how enjoyable much of this filler content is, it has no real bearing on the plot of Naruto, and if it were removed, you would ultimately have the same story, just a much less realized version of it. In Boruto, however, there are three subsets of media. After the conclusion of Shippuden, the team realized that one of the major criticisms for the Naruto anime was that many were not a fan of the inconsequential filler episodes, and sometimes even entire filler arcs that took time away from advancing the story any further, making the anime as a whole a slog to get through from some viewers due to the pacing.
Oh my God! I really don't feel so well.
Realizing that this filler held a negative connotation based on the precedent, they sought to address this complaint with the release of the Boruto animated series. Now, instead of the two subsets, canon and filler being the standard, a third subset was introduced called anime canon. The term anime canon refers to something that is not featured in the source material, but still holds relevance to the overall story of whatever medium it appears in this specific example, the anime. Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto and Boruto, has been listed as a supervisor for the Boruto anime in the past, but none of us have any clue as to what extent he is actually involved. And he is currently the lead writer of the Boruto manga, so reasoning would be that he is aware of the Jougan's existence and seemingly approved of it. This is where the term anime canon comes into play. I personally am of the camp that if something is stated to be canon by the creators, then it is canon. If the anime is stated to be canon and it is considered anime canon, then it is canon. But that means it is only canon to the anime. So, to clarify, something that is anime canon does not exist to those who strictly read manga. But to those who consume the anime canon is canon. I do both, so it's all relevant to me. And I think that's where a lot of the confusion lies. There is an unwillingness in the community to accept anime canon as important because anything that deviates from the manga is considered filler to them. I believe that's a very closed-minded way of thinking, as, like I said before, adding more content isn't always a bad thing. It can even enhance the overall story. So, now we're back to the question. Is the Jougan canon? Well, of course it is. In the anime. But the question isn't necessarily if it's canon or not. We can see it in the anime, it exists, it pops up numerous times, especially in anime canon arcs. The question is it in the manga? If it isn't, will it actually appear and 100% validate its existence in both manga and the anime? So this panel right here from Boruto Chapter 1 in the flash forward is the panel that a lot of people speculate is the first appearance of the Jogan. So I'm going to actually tackle that in a little bit, but I just want to go ahead and say that if you're still watching, then thank you so much. I appreciate your time and the fact that you're here listening to me talk about something that means so much to me. Thanks, guys. So, one example that is brought up pretty frequently when discussing the canonicity of the Jogan in the manga is the fact that apparently in the first chapter of the Boruto manga, in the flash forward scene, the famous one, you know it, Boruto and Naruto's son are seen atop the Hokage faces, preparing for battle, while Konoha is in shambles behind them. Kawaki tells Boruto that the age of ninja, or shinobi if you read Viz, is over. Boruto puts on Sasuke's headband and says that he is still a ninja before revealing a right eye that is very heavily emphasized with kanji and speed lines. And one thing I've noticed while making this video is that apparently Kawaki seems to be a little surprised at this reveal, which, if you're all caught up on the manga, you would know that Momoshiki's Byakugan is old news to Kawaki, so maybe there's something that we're missing here. But then again, I could just see Kawaki being surprised that Boruto now has a new eye to replace the one that he had previously lost. Many believe that this is the Jogan's manga appearance and that Boruto is fated to receive this dojutsu in the future. As of right now, the only dojutsu that Boruto has received is the Byakugan in his right eye during Momoshiki's frequent possessions, but it reverts back to a normal eye when Boruto is in control. The only time that this was not the case was in chapter 66 when Boruto first fights Momo's control, which I believe serves as foreshadowing that Boruto will eventually be able to keep his dojutsu on, just like Kawaki is able to keep Ishiki's eye on. A few points for people stating that this is the Jogan is the absence of veins you would traditionally see on a Byakugan user. The others include a kanji being different for a Byakugan, the activation sound, and the actual design of the eye. So first we're going to look at the activation sounds, and I genuinely do think this one makes sense. So I decided, okay, maybe I should go back and reread Naruto and a little bit of Boruto, just to see what the Sharingan activation sound is and if it's consistent, the Byakugan sound. And one thing I started to realize was the same sound that's used for the eye in the beginning is used pretty frequently throughout a lot of Boruto. And I have that up on the screen now. Okay, I see a safe flag. There goes a clash. Does that say clang? Sasuke got ups. My eye. Crack. Ooh, two for Kawaki. Kawaki Uzumaki. Oh, look, Kakashi in on it. Yo, who that? Is he important? You get the idea. Oh, and for fun, here's Neji making that exact same sound with his Byakugan during part 1 Chunin exams. So yeah, I think it's pretty disingenuous to say that it definitely has to be, or can be if you're a Jogan believer, the Byakugan because of an onomatopoeia, or the kanji that pop up from time to time. Now, the other point I see frequently is the design and the fact that there are no veins. Every single time that Borushiki has emerged with the Byakugan, he has always operated without veins. Yes, even in the anime. But besides that, the design of it could go either way, honestly. The only thing separating the Jogan and Boroshiki's Byakugan is Kishimoto coloring it in. But, based on the anime version of the Jogan's appearance, the sclera is supposed to be black. So I would expect it to at least be shaded in, but it's not. It's all white. Personally, I'm open to us getting a new dojutsu for Boruto, but as of right now, there is just no conclusive evidence that points to this being a new dojutsu other than the Byakugan that we've seen Boruto have time and time again. And finally, the last major defeater I usually tend to see is that the Jogan apparently appears again in chapter 55 with the massively speculated Otsutsuki God panel. Now, this revelation of an Otsutsuki God comes about while Code is overseeing the Ten Tails and Ishiki appears to him. We see Ishiki erect from Code's karma after his defeat at the hands of Kawaki and them. I mean, look at this panel. This is the coolest thing ever. Naruto, sun up there. Now, whether that's... excuse me. Now, whether this is the actual Ishiki speaking to Code is a topic for another video that I would love to do. But Ishiki appears to Code and explains to him how to carry out his final will in order to become what he refers to as an Otsutsuki god, and this is where we get the famous panel. In the panel, you can see a deity-like figure surrounded by more eyes than I care to count, all of which many have speculated to be the Jogan. Many believe that these dojutsu seen in this panel are Jogan all around him. In favor of the Jogan being canon would be that the design of the eye has led many to compare it to Boruto's right eye in chapter 1 of the manga. Again, this is another one that's too early to call, but many had hoped that in the anime we would get a better look at what the design would appear like once we got to this part of the chapter in the manga, and many were disappointed to see what amounted to be silhouettes basically. The eyes were completely blacked out, leaving no room for either side to make a determination either way. So, I think this all boils down to what is actually canon to you. If you are strictly anime, then the anime canon is going to be what is canon to you. If you are strictly manga, then anything that is the manga is the source material and anything that deviates is filler. If you are open to both, then you are willing to accept anime canon as well as the source material as both canon. But for those who are strictly manga, the consensus is that they will believe in the Jougan once they see it or it is mentioned by name in the manga. And until then, all we can go on is speculation. And now that part 1 is finally concluded of Boruto, we finally get yet another look at the Jougan. But the problem is, this is just another anime appearance. This doesn't necessarily make it canon in the manga. Honestly, I love the Boruto series, and whether or not the eye is canon or not, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is your personal enjoyment of the content we're receiving. And ooh, I'm eating good. I've enjoyed Boruto through everything and would even consider myself a stan here for both the anime and the manga. But I personally don't think that the Jougan is canon to the manga, and that's fine. It's perfectly fine for the manga and anime to be different, and that's the point of these two mediums being separate entities. I like the differences. I read books and then I go to the movies and watch what I just read. I like waiting to see what may be different, what might be new. I'm sure you guys have watched The Last of Us show, and that show is a speed run of the game, but I still loved it. All in all, they make viewing all forms of Boruto worth it no matter the canonicity. But that's just my take. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below so that we can talk more about it. Again, thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy the video, maybe leave a thumbs up as it helps me out a lot. Also, I plan to make a video in the future explaining the karma and all of its abilities, so let me guys know if you're interested in that. But I'm out! Holla!